Topic 14, Sports, by teacher Nubia Colindres. Panamanians have stand out in a variety of sports, driven only by their dreams and hope to represent their country and show the love they feel for different sports. So now let's know a little bit of some famous Panamanians in sports. For example, Rod Carew, who was famous in baseball, Roberto Duran in boxing, Eileen Coparropa in swimming, Lafitte Pincay horse racing, Danilo Pinnock in basketball, Mariano Rivera in baseball, Irving Saladino the high jump, Roman Torres in football soccer, Leonardo Gonzalez in wrestling, and Yvette Lewis in athleticism. So now let's mention the most popular sports in Panama. Of course, we have number one is baseball, soccer, boxing, basketball, volleyball, athleticism, martial arts, and swimming. Those are some of the most popular sports in Panama. Let's know some interesting facts about sports in Panama. The most popular sports in Panama are baseball and soccer. Baseball has produced more professional athletes than any other sport in Panama. The best boxer in Panamanian history is Roberto Mano de Piedra Duran. People who practice sports are healthier than those who do not. Playing soccer is less expensive than playing baseball. Karate requires more concentration than most sports. The most famous Panamanian baseball player is Mariano Rivera. And the fastest Panamanian base runner in the big leagues was Rodney Carew. That means some sports are good for you. Some of the benefits of sports are mental health. They increase confidence, improve communication skills, and teach how to handle failure. Of course, there are physical fitness. This is a benefit also. The types of sports are team sports, which they teach you life skills such as dedication and leadership, and individual sports, which bring discipline and teach dedication and patience. So that means the sports are good for you. Now let's see some words for the glossary. For example, the word accountability is the fact of being responsible for what you do and able to give a satisfactory reason for it. Base runner, we mentioned that word before, is a baseball player of the team at bat who is on base or is attempting to reach a base. Challenging, it means arousing competitive interest, thought or action. Dedication is the quality of being dedicated or committed to a task or purpose. Expensive, we are going to see this word in a little bit. It means with a very high price. Failure is a lack of success in some effort. Field is an area constructed, equipped, or marked for sports. Fitness is the condition of being physically fit and healthy. Healthy means in a good physical or mental condition, in good health. Hurdle is an artificial barrier over which racers must leap. Leadership is the action of leading a group of people or an organization. League is a group of sports clubs which play each other over a period for a championship. Life skill is any skill or ability that is useful in your life. Martial arts is any of several arts of combat and self-defense, such as karate and judo. Mental health, it means a person's condition regarding their psychological and emotional well-being. And now let's see the grammar. In this case, comparative and superlatives. Comparative and superlative adjectives. Comparative adjectives are used to compare one noun to another noun. In these instances, only two items are being compared. For example, the bluebird is angrier than the robin. Superlative adjectives, on the other hand, are used to compare three or more nouns. They are also used to compare one thing against the rest of a group. For example, he is the happiest person in the office. Let's see some more examples. For example, the adjective hot, the comparative form is hotter, and the superlative is the hottest. Now we're seeing a cat. This cat is fat. The other one is fatter, and the last one is the fattest cat in the world. Here we have the word happy is an adjective. It changes to happier in the comparative form and the happiest in the superlative form. There are some rules, as you know. For example, if the adjective has only one syllable, to form the comparative we add er, and the superlative we add est at the end. For example, fast, faster, and superlative the fastest. Young, comparative form younger, and superlative the youngest. If the adjective has only one syllable but it's ending in e, for example, nice or strange, and spelling it ends in e, they end in e. The comparative, to form the comparative, we only add the r, and in the superlative we only add the st. Nicer, the nicest. Stranger, only the r, and strangest, we add only the st at the end. If the adjective has one syllable but is a consonant, short vowel consonant, for example the word big, consonant, vowel, consonant, you have to double the last consonant and add er for the comparative and est for the superlative. For example, big, bigger, the biggest, hot, hotter, the hottest. If the adjective has two syllables but ends in y, like happy or crazy, for example, or healthy, as we saw before, to form the comparative we change or remove the y and add ier for the comparative and iest for the superlative. So happy becomes happier, and in the superlative the happiest. Crazy becomes crazier, and in the superlative the craziest. Famous, in this case we have two or more syllables. We have famous, beautiful, long words like interesting, amazing. To form the comparative we add only more and then we copy the adjective. And in the superlative we have the most and then the adjective. For example, famous becomes more famous and then the most famous, and beautiful, more beautiful, and the most beautiful. These are some rules that you have to keep in mind in order to write or form the comparative and superlative form of adjectives. There are some irregular adjectives. They don't follow the rules. For example, in the case of good, we have good. It changes to better in the comparative form, and then the best in the superlative. Other irregular adjectives are far, bad, well, little, and many. Well, in this case, well is an adverb, but it's still there. Far, it changes to further in the comparative, and the furthest in the superlative. Bad changes to worse, and then in the superlative, the worst. Well changes to better and the best, just like good, okay? Little becomes less in the comparative form and the least in the superlative. Many changes to more in the comparative and the most in the superlative. Also the word much changes to more and the most. Okay, so those are irregular adjectives. They don't follow rules, and then this you have to memorize. Okay, remember them. Let's practice. Here we have a list of 10 adjectives. What we have to do is to complete this chart using the comparative and the superlative form. Here we have bright, expensive, good, heavy, interesting, large, loud, modern, and soft. So we have to analyze the adjectives. In this case we have bright, it's just one syllable, changes to brighter, superlative, the brightest. Expensive is a long adjective, so it changes to more expensive, the most expensive in the superlative form. Good is an irregular adjective, so it changes to better and the best. Heavy, 2 syllables, ends in Y. Heavier, the heaviest. Interesting is also a long adjective, so it changes to more interesting, the most interesting in the superlative form. Large is an adjective, it ends in E, so it changes to larger, we only add the R, and the largest, we add the ST at the end. We have lazy, which is a 2 syllable but ends in Y. We have to change the Y or remove the Y and add IER, lazier. And then for the superlative we change to the laziest. In this case we have loud is a short adjective, 1 syllable. Louder, loudest. Modern, this is a long word, 2 syllables only. More modern, and then we have the most modern. Soft changes to softer, and the softest. This is another practice. In this case, we have sentences, but we have to decide when to use the comparative or superlative form. The adjectives are in parentheses. We have Aileen Coparropa was the athlete to represent Panama in Olympic Games. So she is being compared to the other athletes. So she was the youngest athlete to represent Panama in Olympic Games. Yvette Lewis got the best mark in hurdle in Beijing 2016. Volleyball is harder to play than basketball. Basketball is more intense than volleyball. A soccer team is bigger than a baseball team. Remember the rules. In Panama, baseball and soccer are the most popular sports. 7. Boxing is more dangerous than karate. So we are comparing boxing and karate. This is a comparison, so we use the comparative form. Running is the easiest sport to practice. This is the superlative. Basketball players are usually taller than boxers. This is a comparison also. The last one, baseball has produced more professional athletes than any other sport in Panama. So with this, I hope you have at least an idea of the use of comparative and superlative. Thank you.